With us now is Nathaly Nairn, an eyewitness to last night's tragedy. Nathaly, this has got to be extremely difficult. I wanted to just begin by thanking you for being here to discuss this with us. Where are you at right now personally in trying to process all of this?
Hi, Tony. Thank you. I really am sitting deep with the families of people that lost loved ones, the neighbors, and that witnessed what happened, and my friends and community in the Filipino community. My heart is heavy for them today. That's really where I've been sitting today.
Where were you and who were you with when everything started to unfold? And perhaps what was it that told you, first of all, that something was going wrong?
We came upon the festival. Actually, didn't know the festival was happening. We were enjoying a very leisurely day in Vancouver yesterday. It was really a perfect spring day. It was really warm. I was with my best friend, her daughter, and my daughter, who's 15, and my niece, who is 10. And we had original plans to be on Main Street for dinner, and those fell through. And we found another spot that we wanted to go for dinner and stumbled upon the festival. And it was such an excellent, fun, happy vibe that we were taking on some of the festivities. We were walking upon 43rd Street where all the food trucks were, and there were so many families. The music was going on. There was sunshine. There was something really wholesome about the experience as well, because it really felt like a block party. I live on Commercial Drive for a long time, and we do something called car-free days. And in the last 6 years, those have changed because we get the big barricades, the big trucks that barricade the festival. And this was different. This felt like a block party still. There was the soft barricades, and it felt very comfortable and happy. We were researching what the festival was about and talking to the girls about it. And we proceeded to dinner a block away from it on 44th Avenue. And everything was fine. We were having a great dinner. We got to share our table with another lovely daughter and mother duo. And shortly after 8, fire trucks and cars starting to arrive into 43rd Avenue. We thought that because the event was wrapping up, they were doing crowd control. Didn't think much of it until ambulances started leaving the area very rapidly. And at that point, my daughter, who's very curious, asked if she could go outside to see what was happening. And I said, sure, we'll be here. We're just going to pay the bill. And about a minute after, I saw her running in towards the restaurant again. And the restaurant was full of people. And she stood there with her cousin and yelled out what had happened. Somebody had told her that an SUV had driven through the street, and she said there was people everywhere. And we tried to keep her calm and get some more details. At that point, we decided to leave the restaurant and go back to our car. We were parked on 43rd Street. We got to the corner, and there had been a lot of first responders at that point that had left. A neighbor who lived in the building that we were standing right below told us what he had seen, that he had seen the SUV speed through, and that a lot of people had already been taken away from the scene. At that point, a police officer asked us that if we were not waiting for news from our loved ones, if we could leave. And we were clearing out, and I told him my car was down the street. I needed to get through. And they gave me an escort, a lovely young man. There were so many young volunteers. There was one specific one that I can see his face. He was so shocked and crying as we were escorted down. We get to walk about half a block down, and that's when we first had eyes on the SUV. And there was something so stark about that SUV. It was parked right in the middle of the street, but the amount of damage was immense. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the photos. Airbags had blown up, and there was so much damage to the car. And as we get past the car, we start seeing bodies. Most of them getting help from what appear family members. There weren't a lot of first responders on them at that point. Now that I think of the timeline, a lot of them had left with the people that needed to be taken away from the scene first. And a couple steps after that is when I came upon what was very obvious, somebody that was no longer alive. And it was that's when I asked my daughter to close her eyes as we were getting through the scene. And our escort very kindly and warmly kept reassuring us that everything was okay and that he was going to make sure that we got to our car so we could get home. There was something the dichotomy of the scene is what really sits with me still to this moment. It was such a happy day, and here we were in this space of such sadness and somehow eerily calm. A lot of people that were there when it happened, it was so chaotic. But then a short 10 minutes after, everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, helping people. And it was just so calm, but tragic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to move on now, but Nathaly Nairn, an eyewitness at that horrible incident in Vancouver. There was the incident itself, but of course, then there was what everybody saw afterwards as well. And you were there, and it is our hope that you and your family are okay as you process this and move forward as the rest of the community looks to heal as well. Nathaly, thank you so much for taking a moment to chat with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.